So I can't say that I really focused on my art until I came out here in 1999, and then the following year or two, after getting established and everything, then I finally took that class with Fumiko. And it was the interesting thing in that she said to me, looking at some of my practice pieces, how long have you been painting sumie? And I went, this is my first class. So it was something that actually fermented from a long time. I had a long hospital stay when I was pregnant with my son, and I'd read a book on Chinese painting then. And so 20 some odd years later, it came to fruition as far as taking that class. And then, like I said, from doing the sumie, the Zen style, then you start having a lot of practice paper at first. And so then I started doing collage, and I also took a collage class from Fumiko and joined the Puget Sound Sumi Artists. And so it was just off and running. And at least for me, it's a real spiritual thing. And so, and that almost, blocks me, I think, from selling it, because it's like, how can you sell something that's spiritual? But one of my friends the other day said to me, well, have you seen somebody that walked up to one of your pieces and just lit up and just was so excited about it and had to have it? And so that's what I've been thinking about now, is how it's the way of sharing that spiritual nature. So that's what appealed to me about the sumie, was the centering and the harmony, and just really being focused. So after all those years of sort of denying the art and pushing it away, doing other things or cutesy craft things, it's just really come into fruition. If you try to do things that are against what you're feeling, it really shows in the work. So that's, no matter what classes I teach, I always tell people, well, this might not end up being your favorite thing, but carry it on to whatever other class you're going to do. And eventually you'll find a media or a technique that really speaks to you, and you'll work on it that way. But yeah, the sumie is very important to me. And then I've been doing a lot more collage lately, but I go back and forth between the two. To do the sumie, I have to have it really tidy. And then when you do collage, it gets really messy. Actually, my aunts thought that I was a little bit talented, so is that pretty bizarre? So, of course, I didn't want to just go to work out of high school. So, who wants to do that? So I went to college, and I got my degree in art education. So, and the thing about the degree at that point in time was that you had a really good general base of classes, and so, because they expected you to be able to teach anything, so that was a really good start. And I've relied on that teacher education off and on all my life. So a lot of times you work in a series, and actually the people at the gallery, Bainbridge Arts and Crafts, wanted me to do some work for the pediatric unit at Harrison Hospital in Bremerton. And so I did this whole series of cats, and then after I was looking at them, they were very whimsical. And I thought, geez, those should really be book illustrations, which several other people told me this year, So I'm like, okay, I finally got to focus and send some work out like that. So that one's going in TCC, environmental show. And this is, I suppose I shouldn't spoil it, but this is like pieces of the cat food bag, and of course shopping bags and so forth. And then this summer, I should say in September, for the Puyallup Fair, I was asked to demo. So that was great fun, because there was about 6 artists, everybody different media, and we were messing around all day, and I did a whole bunch of collages all day long. It was great. And then this one too, here's my handmade paper again with the different little face in there. A couple of the dried leaves, skeleton leaves and such. So that one's a little bit of a combination of papers. And this one here is totally recycled things. This is, I love those things from the sparkling cider, the metal on the top. But when I was growing up, we didn't have art in school. Wow, somebody would come in maybe once a year and you'd do some finger painting or something. And then by the time I was teaching, though, in the 70s, if you had a preschool in your system, there was art and music and gym and, so whether chorus or whatever, but all the way through. And I think instrumental started like 5th grade or something. But you had all those opportunities. And then when I ever moved out here 9 years ago, and I went, oh God, they hardly have any art or music for these kids. And it's a whole different way of seeing and learning. And so their needs aren't being met. And so that, to me, I try to mentor people in the classes, because a lot of times I'll get people in different classes that have never picked up a paintbrush or a pencil, and so to make them feel safe and nurtured and to want to continue that growth of expressing themselves is really important to me. And I think that's what art is for people, whether they're visually looking at things in the museum, or whether they're actively trying to create things themselves, or just picking out the color of their clothing, or it's in everything, but they might not realize it. And to me, it's a real disservice to not, foster that from the very beginning on. When my kids were little, I didn't care if they, made a super mess. And a lot of times their birthday parties, we'd have all kinds of crafts or painting or tie-dyeing and stuff. And I just was always encouraging of them to be creative in one way or the other. So once I started doing the Sumi when I came out here, it just made so much more sense to be trying to capture the energy and the substance of what it was painting. So artists do it in all different ways. Some do that by creating very realistic pieces, and my Sumi is generally very simplistic, just a few brush strokes, very zen, and I don't normally go back in and do anything to it once it's done. And so I think that's the thing, that it's just this spiritual, this connection with the paper, the ink, the collage is the connection with the textures, the colors, and and putting something together that's harmonious in the end.